Every once in a while in sports, an athlete comes along well, they're more than just a player. They pretty much define an entire era. And for the last 20 years in football, there's really only one name that fits that bill: Lionel Messi. So let's get into it. Let's really dive into the story of the guy who didn't just break records, he completely rewrote the book.
Right, let's just get it out there. This is the big one, isn't it? The question that's dominated the sport for almost 2 decades. Is he the GOAT? Look, before we can even try to answer that, you have to grasp the sheer mind-boggling scale of what this man has accomplished.
And a great place to start is with this number right here, 8. That's how many times Lionel Messi has won the Ballon d'Or, the award for the best player on the planet. I mean, that's a record that might literally never be broken. It's the perfect snapshot of his individual dominance. But to really get the whole picture, we've got to go all the way back to the beginning. Because, and this is the crazy part, this global superstar's journey was so fragile. This is a story of a talent so immense that it almost got snuffed out before anyone outside of his small town even knew his name. So this timeline really tells the story. He was born a natural prodigy in Rosario, Argentina. But then, at just 10 years old, boom, a huge roadblock. He's diagnosed with a growth hormone deficiency. His career could have been over right there. Local clubs just couldn't afford his treatment. But then, FC Barcelona stepped in, famously signing him on a napkin, yes, a napkin, and a year later they moved his entire family to Spain. It was this one single moment that changed everything.
And think about this for a second. Think about the gamble Barcelona was taking. This wasn't just signing some promising kid. They were pouring thousands and thousands of dollars every single month into medical treatments for a 13-year-old from another continent. It was all riding on the hope, the belief, that his incredible talent would eventually pay off.
And boy, did it pay off. Now we get to his pro career, and we get to see how that massive investment turned into maybe the most dominant reign in the history of club football. And a huge part of that was thanks to one brilliant tactical switch.
So, when the legendary coach Pep Guardiola took over, he did something genius. As you see in step 1, he moved Messi from the wing into the middle into a role called the false 9. Okay, so instead of just waiting up top for the ball, Messi would drop back, pulling defenders with him, and it just created absolute chaos for the other team. That one move completely unlocked his goal scoring and his playmaking, and that led directly to step 2, a period of dominance nobody had ever seen before, which all led up to the ultimate prize. The sextuple. Yeah, that means winning everything. Your domestic league, your domestic cup, your super cup, the Champions League, the UEFA Super Cup, and the Club World Cup, all in the same year. It's almost impossible. And that Barcelona team with Messi as the centerpiece was the first team in history to ever pull it off.
But here's where the story gets complicated. This is the real conflict in Messi's career. Because while he was winning literally everything with his club, there was this massive, painful gap on his resume. Winning something with his country, Argentina. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got this mountain of trophies with Barcelona. And on the other, just a string of crushing defeats for Argentina. Losing the World Cup final in 2014, then losing back-to-back Copa America finals in 2015 and 2016. I mean, you can't even imagine the pressure and the heartbreak. And that's the key, right? For all of his genius, the critics always had this one thing to point to. He was always being compared to the other Argentinian legend, Diego Maradona, who delivered that World Cup in '86. And Messi, for all his greatness, just couldn't seem to get over that final massive hurdle for his country. Until he did. At the 2022 World Cup, everything changed. After a lifetime of pressure of falling just short, Lionel Messi finally led Argentina to glory in what might be the greatest World Cup final ever played. 36. Think about that number. That is how many years an entire nation, Argentina, had waited to win that trophy again. This wasn't just about Messi winning a cup. This was pure joy, pure release for millions of people. It cemented his place in their hearts forever. So now that he has that final, incredible piece of the puzzle, what is his ultimate legacy? Well, it's so much more than just numbers. It's a combination of stats, an unbelievable style of play, and a status that really goes beyond football itself. So what made him so good? It's that he was the complete package. He wasn't just a scorer, he was a creator. The guy could see passes that no one else on the planet could see. His dribbling was just supernatural. He'd glide past defenders like they weren't even there.
And to combine that kind of artistry with just relentless, record-breaking goal scoring, year after year for nearly 2 decades, that's what true greatness is. And look at this. This chart really puts it all into perspective against the other titans of the game. Now, yeah, Pelé has more World Cups. No one denies that. But just look at Messi's numbers in club trophies and those individual Ballon d'Or awards. Statistically speaking, his case is just overwhelming. It's arguably second to none.
So that brings us back to where we started. Is he the greatest of all time? We've seen the whole story, from the small kid in Rosario who almost didn't make it to the undisputed king of world football. We've seen the trophies, the magic, the heartbreak, and finally, the ultimate redemption. The only question left to ask is, will we ever see